What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our Let's Play here on the Bedrock edition. As you can probably tell already, we are still over here at the Penta-spawner at the moment. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that I've changed. I've got all the item frames up, I've named all the items for the correct enchants, and I've made sure that if our enchanting table's directly where this torch is that we can actually see and access every single enchant around us, which is extremely good. And I've sort of used specific items for like the specific enchants. So we've got all of the sword ones, we've got the bow ones going along there, then we've got the 2 helmet ones, we've got the 4 different protection types on the main chest piece, we've got the 3 boot ones, which is the Frostwalker, Depth Strider, Feather Falling. That is not a shield, that's a banner with a black border around. I've done that for Unbreaking. And then we got Thorns, Curse of Binding, Curse of Vanishing. And I don't think I've got any of them books enchanted apart from Thorns. So, but them other 2 enchants are in the game. They are possible to get on books, so they're going to be put in the system. And then we got Mending, which is an anvil. Then we got our Tridents. Then we got our Fortune, Efficiency, Silk Touch for our pickaxes. And then we got our 2 junky, is it Fishing Rod enchants? How is it I managed to forget the name of that item? Fishing Rod, yeah. But I very rarely manually enchant a fishing rod, but I've got tons of the books for them, so they're in the system. It's all 33 of the possible enchants that you can get on books, which is handy. I've not done any of the cosmetics. There is a couple of things that I wanted to run you through if you were using item frames with items on observers. First thing is that if you're going to build something using this many observers, build it right the first time, because after I finished recording, there was, I think it was 2 items on the left hand side that when I was turning was dispensing items from 3 of the droppers, and it took me about 5.5 to 6 hours problem solving, figuring out which one of these observers were facing the wrong way. And so I had to follow and chase out all the lines, and then before I had to actually do the problem solving, I actually had to chase out each line individually and figure out which ones were for which chest. So I've actually got all the signs on the chest up here for loading in the enchanted books. So they're quite easy to come around, access the double chests, and you've got all the enchants written along the top, and they're corresponding with the enchants on the item frames. But yeah, if you're going to build it right the first time. Don't do the mistake that I made. I thought it's like once you've run about 150, 200 worth of the observers, you feel like you're in a groove and you know exactly which way you're going with them. And that side was the last side I'd done. So obviously, me in my sort of just phased out sort of mode, building mode, I made a couple of little mistakes of just simple observers facing the wrong way, and yeah, it cost me about 5.5 to 6 hours. But all of these are now labelled up. There's another thing that you need to know regarding the observers with item frames. Now, the way that I can only figure this out is that when the observer is loaded up, when it's been unloaded and reloaded, because an observer is a solid block, the item frame and item within the item frame are counted as entities, I believe. So if I give you a quick demonstration of what I mean, so if we have an observer facing there, we can then have a dropper on the back of each of these guys. And then what we're going to do is put an item frame on one of them, put a little rocket in that one. Are these droppers or dispensers? Droppers, okay. So if they were dispensers, they would just fire the fireworks. And then we're going to put half a stack of ender pearls in this one, just so that we know which one's dispense. So what's happening is that when I was unloading and reloading them, and the quickest and easiest way of me showing you how I figured it out and what was happening is by me leaving the area, and the easiest way of doing that is to jump in and out of the nether. And that will unload it, and then when I go back in, it will reload it. So we'll wait a second for that area to become unloaded. Da 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 da. And then we pop back through. So what was happening is that initially when I paired up all of the items with the correct item frames to the correct chests that they were going to or coming from, I was putting a stack of a completely different item in every single dropper at the top, and then I'll turn one item frame and then I'd mark that item frame as being that observer. But let's see if this happened. Yeah, see, as you can see, the dropper with the item frame and the rocket in has actually gone ahead, and let me just make sure, I believe it's fired 2, so we've got 32 on us. Like, it fired 1, so it's only counting it as one entity. So when you're loading it with an item frame on, the observer's seeing the item frame as a block update. So if you are going to build it, you're going to need a kill switch in the system, which I've gone ahead and done here. Now this kill switch just runs round to a set of sticky pistons, which what it does is, if I hop up here, if I can get an angle on it for you, it's the best way, it's just one layer below here actually. Grab some ender pearls, see if we can't get down there. So this sticky piston line runs all the way round, and what it's doing is just pulling the blocks away from the observers. So obviously when I'm finished in the area, or if I'm about to log out, I just got to make sure that the kill switch is off. And that way, when I do reload the area, all the item frames, although still are going to send signals. Can we get back down there? Although the item frames are still going to send signals through the observers up that chain, they won't be setting off the droppers dispensing our books. So when I initially figured it out, I had a ton of items in all of them. I sort of went back to my base to get some more items to fill up the chest so I could label them all. And I came back here and there was just like 2 stacks worth of random items sitting in the middle of the floor, where all of the observers had obviously gone off and set off all the droppers. So just in case you're going to build it, just make sure that you've got a kill switch in it. I've got one on mine, so after I'm done enchanting, I can just switch it off. That's if I'm using the book to do the enchanting. But yeah, that's that job done for now anyway. I'm going to leave this area for now, and I will be coming back to this probably in the next episode. But like I said, I did not want to spend a full 2 episodes working on that. And the sort of cosmetic side of it is going to be, the design I've got for it is like a complete and utter overhaul, like ridiculously overhaul, like all of the glass tubes I want to get redone. But I'm going to head back over to our base, and I'll bring you back when we're over there. Alright then guys, we're actually skipping our little home base area today. I've decided that I fancy working on this area some more. This is our sort of snowy base, which is connected by the water tunnel. Now the thing that I actually want to work on over here is a bit of biome enhancement. So I, in reality, want to create my own. Oh my god, that clicking's going to drive me mad. Hold on. This is our auto snow machine, and I've been needing to get blocks built up to sort of tidy this area up. Now, I'm not using any texture packs whatsoever. What I have been doing is, you see that area over there where you can see all the dirt with the top layer of snow? I really didn't like the way that looked. So what I've been doing is getting rid of all of the spruce trees, sort of leveling out the ground a bit, and then wherever there's dirt, I've just been lining it with full snow blocks just to get rid of that dirt. Now it annoys me that you can't get a texture pack or a behavior pack which would do this for me, but yeah, it's just one of them things that I think looks 10 times better when it is just completely snow rather than having the dirt patches everywhere. And then also I've been getting rid of all of the ferns and the grass, which has been an absolute nightmare. It's like, just to clear this one area, you wouldn't believe, because you can't just punch the grass. It doesn't work. You have to break the snow and then break the grass, which is what I've been having to do to get rid of all of the grass in the area. Proper grindy, but I'm hoping eventually after we finish doing the biome enhancement in this area that will be worthwhile. So we actually want a sort of centralized area big enough, because our main structure is probably going to be built around this area. So to be honest with you, I probably want to tear down this little mountain bit. We haven't got a massive area to work with because the snow sort of cuts off over this area and it doesn't actually carry on over, I think it does carry on just around this sort of corner. It cuts off near the riverbank, and then this area just turns into normal taiga, and then it carries on around that way. So we've got a very limited sort of size biome to actually change, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that we can completely change the biome to the way that I want it, which isn't going to be too difficult because it's not a humongous sort of area. But what I want to do is build my own sort of custom trees. Now, by custom trees, I don't mean just a different style of wooden tree. I actually want to build it out of a completely different material. Technically, I want it to be like a crystal or a glass tree, and I've mocked up a couple of different patterns for them. So what I will do with you now, rather than me go ahead and start whacking the trees everywhere, I'm going to hop over into my test world where I sort of work everything out, and I'll show you the two variations that I came up with. Okay, so this is a little bit crazy variations of trees that I'm going for. Now, I want to use either packed ice with white glass and light blue stained glass with sort of icicles of the glass panes coming off of it. And the sort of tree design is, for this model, it is, I believe it's like the Biome So Plenty mangrove tree trunk mixed with a weeping willow sort of leaf pattern, but made of completely different materials. And I quite like the way it looks. The other variation of the same sort of packed ice and light blue with the white glass and that is this one, which is sort of like a rickety sort of trunk on it, which looks fairly decent. I quite like it as well, and I'm not too sure about which one to go for out of them. And then if you did not like either of them variations, we could go extremely out there with the vibrant purple. And we've got the purple with the white glass still. I've put on the snow along the top of them because I'm not going to be able to help that being a fact. It's just it snows in the biome, so any flat surface is going to have at least one layer of snow on. And the only benefit is like the purple tree is done out of, what is it, purple concrete powder, and then you've got purple stained glass with the white glass in the center. And the only benefit of the purple one, which I really like, is that if we switch over the time to, well, let's say a midnight, we can actually use end rods to light it up. Now, I was thinking about having these sort of trees. Now, we can still go with the sort of mangrove root pattern, or we could do the sort of rickety pattern, because although it is concrete powder, we can hold it up with string, and it's not that visible. Once you go more than, I think it's like 5 or, what is it, 10 or 15 blocks away, the string's not visible at all. And having them dotted about, it is very, very vibrant choice. So I'm sort of dubious about it. But what I will do is I'll do a little vote up in the top right hand corner now, and you lot can pick. So I'm not gonna go ahead and build any of these trees until I see what at least some of you think I should do. Now, bearing in mind, the main structure that I want to be building in that area is going to be out of packed ice, and it is going to be a sort of, I want to build what will essentially be a humongous packed ice with crystal leaf tree type thing. It's I've never tried building anything organic like that whatsoever. Most of my builds tend to be modern or Tudor or medieval, or just man cave, or just digging a hole in the side of a hill. But yeah, the sort of thing I want to go for in the new area is sort of like a fantasy sort of drift away place where I can come up with crazy and random sort of ideas. And I thought having a completely different type of tree, like a crystal tree or glass tree like these, would be extremely nice. Yeah, it's just the purple is just so vibrant. It's proper out there. Unless you've got any other recommendations of block palettes that I could use for the sort of trees and other things that I should build in the area. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop back over into our Let's Play. Okay, now that we're over here, I actually want to get started on what is going to be our main structure. And we're going to want the center point of it to be probably Probably somewhere about here. Actually, we're going to want it a little bit away from our farms. So probably about here. So let's say we come up. Just build this up a little bit. I'm just going to show you quickly how I'm planning on doing it as an organic structure. Quickly eat something as well. And we're going to want the main base of it to be fairly large. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very festive. It's now snowing. Awesome. Okay, so that's going to be roughly how big the area within the actual sort of base thing that I want to build. Can we get some ice on us? What are you? You're all of our glass. We need an ender chest. So I do believe my packed ice and stuff is in one of these. Yeah, it took me ages collecting the packed ice, and I've got some blue ice as well. Because the blue ice actually glows in the dark a little bit, which I didn't realise. Is it dark now? It looks a little bit dark, so yeah. So if you actually put it down, I think it's got a light level of like 1 or 2. I actually think it does put out a light, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I know that the friction on it is a lot less than packed ice, so using it for waterways and speedways is... Why is the dog barking? Okay, he's fine. Yeah, I know the friction on it's a lot less than the normal packed ice, so using it for streamways and that's a lot better. But before we go doing that, let's just fill in this area so we've got a flat surface to work with. I love working over here in the snow as well because you get the crunching sound of the snow after it's been falling. And I love that in real life as well. It's probably the only thing about the snow I do actually enjoy is walking out in it when it's fresh. Get lost, you. Okay, so can we just fill this area in place? And that should be far enough. Awesome, so without a voice break, please. If we just bring these down a little bit, like so. Like so. Just so I know what sort of area we're going to be working with. Okay, and then just around these, we don't want it to be in any sort of circular pattern, so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be going proper random with it. We didn't want to go that random. Thank you. So let's do one of them, one of these, and we just want to eventually bring it over to about this point. So let's say like that, let's bring this over, say a 1, 2, a little 1, 2 there, 1, 2, bring 1, 2, and then maybe a 3. Then we could do the same going around this way. Let's have a couple of 2s there, maybe 1 there, and there. Let's bring it in a little bit, and bring it across, bring it out, bring it across. And then we just want it to look extremely sort of random, but we still want it to remain a sort of circular shape, so maybe bring this one back. Just so that when it does go up gradually the way that I want it to, it should hopefully look decent. We bring this out. That is going to be too many going along that way. So like that. And that's going to be our rough shape of it. And then from here, what I'm going to be doing is getting rid of all of that snow. It's a free resource, so I'm not too worried about losing it. I just needed it there to get the actual measurements. Oh. So with this, what I'm going to be doing is on each one, I'm just going to be going up a random amount. So we'll go up 2 on some, and then we'll go up on like 5 on the others. And we just want it to just be completely random. So what I'm going to do is, without making mistakes, because packed ice is a pain to gather, I'm going to run around and do that, and I'll see what sort of shape I come out with for the next layer. Alright then guys, I've managed to get the first layer sort of done. So as you can see, I've just gone up completely random amounts on every single one going around. It looks very organic and natural. so far anyway. I've not tried building this. I'm just hoping that this sort of concept will work out. So what I actually want to do is go ahead and place blocks on all of the lowest points where we're going to be building up from. So let's say one there, there. And through the magic of editing, you didn't actually have to see me place all of them. Now, from this point, I actually then want to start building up the next layer. So we want our packed dice. And then we again just want to go up a completely random amount going all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okie doke, so the next layer is pretty much done, I do believe. We have a quick look from the outside, just to make sure that it is looking okay. I'm quite happy with the way that it's looking so far. It's still looking very organic, and what I'm hoping is going to happen, although the outer edge was completely random, by going up gradually and by increasing and decreasing like the height of each of the pillars, that eventually when they're, or as they're coming in, they should start rounding off a bit. Like this area here, the pillars go up just slightly, or ever so slightly lower than the ones over here, which means that this side will actually be coming in a lot quicker than this side. So that way it should end up rounding itself off pretty nicely. But what I am going to go ahead and do is that I've not actually got that much packed ice, I don't believe. How much have I got? I've got around about another 13 or 14 stacks. I'm going to see just how high up I can get this, if I can actually get it to the height that I would like it to be. And then, yeah, I'll bring you back to see it. Alright guys, I'm officially out of packed ice now. I've completely used up what I had stored, and yeah, all that we've got left now is the blue ice and some snow blocks on us. So after about the third, or I think it's the third or fourth layer, I started incrementally making the sections go up taller and taller, because what I want it to do is actually sort of lean inwards towards the bottom and then get straighter as it goes up. And I want to take it up to around about 150, and at the moment it's sitting at the top edge there at about, I think it's about 105 to 107 on the bit that it's on now. And then when we get up to about 150 is where I then want the actual sort of leaves to sort of glass to come off to create a sort of dome shape. And hopefully by using glass, I'm hoping that it doesn't completely blot out the light underneath, which would be a really big shame because I don't want that to happen. But yeah, I think it's coming out looking fairly decent, or decent enough anyway, considering that I'd not even tried this. It was sort of just a sort of concept I had in my head that could make it possibly look natural looking. But just give it a quick once over going around. I think it's a fairly decent start. I'm obviously going to have to go out and harvest an absolute bunch more ice. But before I forget, in today's episode, we actually need to do an achievement. And I'm fairly sure that one of them is like catch a fish, cook it, and then eat it. So yeah, hopefully this fish is a normal fish. I'm not sure if it counts if it's a different type of fish. Are you just a raw fish? Yeah, you are just raw fish. What have we got to be able to use as fuel? Can we burn ladders as fuel? Yeah, we can. Happy days. So hopefully this all works. I think I actually have to run around and make myself hungry as well, don't I? Can we get hungry? Oh no, we just need to catch and cook a fish. Oh sweet. Happy days, job done, which means this fish can go into an item frame as an achievement fish, because we've got an achievement cake, why not a fish? But otherwise, I think for today's episode, before I start running on too long, we've got a fair bit done. I'm obviously going to do a lot more of the placing of the blocks and getting rid of all the grass around the area. I'm going to probably tear down the rest of all of these spruce trees within the snowy area and just sort of tidy it up, get rid of all of the grass because it's really bugging me, them stupid little patches of grass. and I think it does just look so much more neater and a lot more fresh and clean cut when it is just snow all the way around. I think it makes the place look a lot nicer. I'm in two minds whether or not to do something about the way that these two guys look, or I may actually rebuild them. Like, I may rebuild the snow creating machine directly on top of the ice tray, or I may actually just push both of our farms into this structure after we've finished building it, because I have no idea where we're going to be actually going with it. I just thought that I really wanted to build something over here, and I didn't want to just go for another generic sort of ice castle or something. And I think that this could actually end up coming out. Yep, end up looking to be something really decent, as long as we go the right way about it. The way that I'm picturing it is just a really, really bigger version of the sort of ice and glass tree that I had in my redstone test world that I showed you. But yeah, also please let me know what you think about the sort of biome enhancements regarding the trees, because obviously I want to start placing them about. I think once I start placing them about and expanding the area of our biome enhancement, that it should start looking really good, because once we push all of these trees back as well and we just get a view of all just the snowy hills with them sort of crazy looking trees everywhere, and then we could sort of invent some crazy pathways going left, right and centre, just to, I don't know, just to create a sort of fantasy biome really is what I want to go for. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today, rather than me make this episode go on for any longer. But hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and I will hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye bye.